Hey guys, so the last unit that we finished before we left was the Cold War and World War II. We just kind of finished all that stuff up. So the next unit that we get into after that is really about what's called decolonization or independence movements. So essentially, just to kind of set the stage for you, after World War II, a lot of countries, traditional imperial superpowers like Britain, for example, is the best example. Um, they struggled to maintain control of their colonies due to the devastation kind of brought on them by World War II. And their kind of lessened ability to control their colonies lead to a whole rash of independence movements across colonies all over the world that were once controlled by European superpowers, but are going to start kind of demanding their own independence and their own freedom. And this unit is very much all about that. Okay. Um, we can, build an entire course about this. For time's sake, and considering the way that we're doing this virtually and the scheduling and so on and so forth, we're going to kind of abbreviate everything. We're going to shrink everything down into kind of smaller sizes and just hope that we can kind of gain some kind of understanding about the basic, big, huge ideas that are kind of contained in these units and these lessons. So we're going for kind of, summary overview kind of thing and not really the particulars. So we're going to try to go over the basics here virtually, and then if and when we ever get back to school, hopefully we can kind of go back and look at some of the more detailed information. So that's going to be the plan. All right. So the first topic in an independence movements unit is about India. India was the crown jewel of the British Empire. And the first story we're going to tell is how India becomes independent. So away we go. Just to kind of recap, we mentioned that India was, the most important colony for Great Britain. Today, it is the second most populous country in the world. There's about 1.3 billion people in India, so it's a huge portion of the population. That represents a large market for the sale of manufactured goods, and also there's plenty of business to be done in India in and of itself. Um, India was at first governed by British East India Company, if you guys remember, until the Sepoy Mutiny. And after the Sepoy Mutiny, um, the British government took control of it. And if you guys want to kind of refresh that, you can go back and look at that in the imperialism unit, AIM 3 probably 3.6 or 7, somewhere around there. So check that out. But that's kind of where we're at, and that's kind of the condition that we start off with. So we're going back to the beginning of this story. We're going to tell the story from kind of when it was under British control and tell the story about how it kind of comes apart after that. The Sepoy Mutiny was a hugely important event because that's what kind of ignites the nationalist spark in India. So these Indians for really are now thinking long and hard about, trying to govern themselves and just embracing the idea that their own version of government, whether it's good or bad, is better than good government from a foreign power. And they kind of have this drive for self determination, and that's kind of that starts with the Sepoy Mutiny, and then you're going to get Gandhi come on the scene, and he's going to really kind of become the figurehead for this independence movement in India. So the first part of what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take a look at Gandhi, who he was as a person, and learn a little bit about kind of how he went about his business. The New York State Regents every single year without fail, in some way, shape, or form, discusses Gandhi. And a lot of times he's an option for one of the essays you have to write also. So he figures prominently every year on the Regents. So it's super, super helpful to have as much information about this guy as we can have. So we're going to start with just some kind of biographical work on him. So I posted a worksheet that essentially amounts to a web quest where I ask you guys to kind of go in there and do some of this research about Gandhi, and I have specific questions that I ask you. So just complete the web quest, using reliable internet sources, and I ask you to cite, what website you're getting information from, and turn that in. So we will begin with a kind of biographical examination of Gandhi the person, and we will kind of move forward to discuss, how Gandhi kind of goes about finishing off this independence movement, or at least coming pretty close to it, and kind of, the fate of India after that. That's the next part of it. All right. So I will be around in our Google Classroom at our scheduled time. Okay. I will be on either the live Google Doc or the Google Meet, whichever we, decide to use, and I'll check your guys' votes later. But I will be on there if you guys need help. So if you have questions about the web quest, or you need some clarification on this, or have any other questions, you guys know where to find me. All right. Talk to you soon. Good luck. See you later.